How many times do you find yourself saying, this year will be my year and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to get my life together. I'm going to be the best version of myself, and you never ever follow through with anything? Because me too. I am right there with you. I've done this so many times and I'm so sick and tired of just feeling like a victim, feeling like I'm sorry for myself, and just not feeling like the best version of myself, adopting the sort of habits that the best version of myself would never do. In today's video, we're going to talk a bit about something called the winter arc. So if you don't know what the winter arc is, it's basically this trend that's been going around recently on social media, TikTok, YouTube. I've seen so many YouTube videos, it's crazy, where you'd start working on yourself in October as opposed to January, because everyone is so eager to start their new life in January at the beginning of the year. But starting in January just never works out, right? You start in January, by February, you already gave up on all your routines, all your goals. You just can't be bothered anymore. So what people do now is they start in October. So October is the new January, so that you slowly build good habits. By the time you reach January, you've already built yourself these habits and you're more likely to stick to them. Like I said, I've been seeing so many videos on this, and I thought, do you know what? That makes so much sense, because the point of this whole thing, this whole trend, is that you need to slowly build those habits to be able to stick to them. You can't just become a new person overnight, right? It can't just hit 1st of January and that's it. From the 1st of January, you became this whole new person. It's never going to work. I've tried it myself. I've been there, done that so many times, and I just never stuck to it because it's so overwhelming. There's too much to implement, right? I have this idea of who I want to be, and the person that I want to be is so different to the person that I am now. The person that I want to be does things so much more differently than I do. She's got so many different habits to the ones that I have. So for me to become her overnight and just start being her on the 1st of January would be way too overwhelming. And that's always been the case. I've been so overwhelmed with trying to implement all of these new habits into my routine that I just end up giving up, and I'm like, oh, I can't do this. I'm not good enough to do this. You know, I'm not her. I'm not who I want to be. So there's not even a point trying. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've done this, this and that to improve my life, and this is what you need to do as well, because that's not the case. That is very far from the truth. And to be completely honest, your girl's gone through it. I've not been my best self whatsoever. I've been very far from the girl that I want to be. And I had to sit down with myself and kind of have a conversation with myself, really, and ask myself, what are you doing? Where do you want to be? What do you want to achieve? And how are you going to do it? Because you're not going to do this by just sitting on your ass all day and watching TV. So I've just started this whole self-development journey. I've kind of just started getting into little habits that I know will take me through to who I want to be. And I'm doing this video just because I want you to come with me on this journey. I want us to grow together. And hopefully in 2025, we will be better versions of ourselves, right? Because I know being that version of yourself that you imagine right now will take time and it won't happen overnight. So I sat down and I thought about, how can I get myself into, like, where do I start? Do you know what I mean? I don't know where to start. And it can be very overwhelming when you don't know what to do, where to start. So I thought, number one, what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to sit down and you're going to picture the person you want to be, that best version of yourself. What does she look like? What sort of clothes does she wear? Focus on the physical aspects first of all. And when I say physical aspect, I don't mean, oh, she has a smaller nose or she has bigger boobs. I mean the way that person presents herself. What does that version of yourself wear on an everyday basis? How does she dress up? What sort of jewelry do you wear? How do you do your makeup? How do you do your hair? Think about every little detail of that person. What hair color does she have? Does she wear a lot of makeup? Does she wear very minimal makeup? How does she smell? What sort of fragrance does she wear? You've got to think about all of these things about your physical appearance first of all, and write that down on a piece of paper, on a journal, whatever you want to write it down on. Write it down and be as detailed as possible. Write every single physical detail about this person that you want to be. And once you've done the physical aspect of it, move on to your personality. So what sort of personality does that person have? And I'm not talking about changing your whole persona, because at the end of the day, your personality is who you are. It's what makes you you. But think about sort of words you use when you speak. For example, me, I want to expand my vocabulary. I want to be better at public speaking. I want to improve my speaking on camera because I still struggle with that a lot. And you can probably tell from my videos, obviously, that there's a lot of editing going on. There's a lot of things that I have to cut out from my videos because I go quiet, or I don't know what to say, or I just stumble my words and they all come out wrong. And that is one thing that I personally want to change about myself, about who I am and about how I come across to other people. So think about what sort of people does that person hang around with? What sort of friends do you have? Every single detail about that person, write it down on a piece of paper. What is their routine? What does their everyday life look like? Do you drink coffee in the morning? Do you have a matcha in the morning? Be as descriptive as you possibly can. For me personally, I know I want to be more confident. I want to love myself more. You know, I want to be that person that when she walks into a room, she has this positive energy about her. Right? At the moment, I am so far from that person. I tend to be so negative sometimes and I put myself down. So I need to work on my self-love. That when you put that down on a piece of paper, when you write it down, you get to compare the things that you do now to what that person would do. So me writing that down makes me realize, well, I do tend to be a little bit negative sometimes and I'm not very confident in myself. So that is something that I need to work on. Which brings me to step number 2 of this plan, which is on that same piece of paper or a different piece of paper or a different page, I don't know, whatever you're writing down on, start writing down the things you do that don't align with that person. So what do you do? What are the habits that you've adopted that don't actually align with who you want to be? One thing that I do that I have been struggling with and I have been doing for a very long time now is binge eating. I have this problem where I love just laying down in bed, watching something, binge watching something, and binge eating, ordering food and ordering more than I can actually eat, more than I need to eat, and eating until I am literally physically sick. So that is one thing that 100% doesn't align with the person that I want to be, because one, it made me gain so much weight. I can't fit in any of my clothes anymore because of that. And two, the person I want to be is in good shape, is healthy. So that is something that 100% doesn't align with the person I want to be. Another example could be waking up first thing in the morning and scrolling through Instagram and TikTok. We're all guilty of this, right? Sometimes I pick up my phone and the first thing I do after I turn off my alarm is check TikTok or Instagram. Like, no, we're not going to do that anymore. We're not about to do that anymore. It doesn't align with the person you want to be. And you wake up first thing so obsessed with what other people are going to post, what other people are doing, that you don't actually sit down and focus on yourself, focus on what you need to do that day. How are you going to improve? What other things are you going to do that day to get to where you need to be, to become that person, right? We're taking the time out of our day to check in on what other people are doing instead of focusing on what we need to do. Now, moving on to step number 3. After you've wrote down everything you don't like about yourself, or the habits that you've adopted that you don't like, we are going to sit down and write down for every single habit that you have that you don't like or doesn't align with the person you want to be. You're going to write down a replacement habit. So what can you replace that habit with that can help you achieve that future better self? So once again, instead of waking up first thing and scrolling through your phone, take those 10 minutes, or sometimes the 10 minutes turn into half an hour on TikTok. Take that time, instead of touching your phone, leave your phone to the side. Don't, just stop your alarm and forget about it, right? That phone doesn't exist. For the first half an hour of your day, that phone does not exist. You can take that time instead and meditate. Go outside, or if you live in the UK like me and it's always raining and you can't really go outside, then go and sit by the window in silence, observe the weather, observe what's around you, and just sit there with yourself. Or think about what you want to do that day. So instead of us being so obsessed in the morning with what others do, we are gonna take the time, clear our head, and focus on what we need to do that day to be able to achieve that better self. Now, moving on to step number 4, that is taking action. So we're going to start taking action on these little habits that we want to build. But the key to this is to not try to do everything at once, because as I mentioned previously, you can't just become this new person overnight. You are going to pick 1 or 2 habits that are the most basic ones on your whole list, and you're going to implement those in the first week. Me, for example, I want to be more physically fit. I want to walk 10k steps a day because I'm not big on working out, and as much as I do want to work out, I know if I start working out tomorrow, I wouldn't stick to it. So I'm going to start small and I'm just going to walk. I'm going to do 10k steps a day. No matter what, I am going to prioritize implementing those 10k steps into my daily routine. Another thing I want to do is drink more water, because that has a major impact on my skin. And of course, I want to have healthy, glowy skin. So one thing I can do is drink water, which I want to start implementing more. I do drink water, obviously, but I don't drink enough. So that is one thing that I do want to start doing, force myself to drink as much water as possible throughout the day. I'm going to start with these 2 things. I'm going to start implementing these 2 things and take action on that. And after my first week of doing those every single day, only then I'm going to add a new habit. I'm going to add a new habit that will once again bring me a step closer to that person that I want to be. As I've mentioned previously, one thing that I want to do and that I want to improve on is my vocabulary. So you need to think, how can I improve my vocabulary? What can I do to improve this? So one thing I can do is, instead of listening to music when I get ready, I can start listening to podcasts, which I actually did do today right after filming this. And honestly, the impact that has is so incredible, because listening to this motivational podcast made me want to film this video even more. Do these little things that will make you feel confident. Do your hair. For example, today I'm going out with my friends. Usually I would never do my makeup. It's something that I used to do when I was younger. I used to do my makeup every single day and I used to be obsessed with it. But as I've grown up, I've become more demotivated and I just can't be bothered for anything anymore. And I haven't been putting effort into myself. But today I thought, I'm going out to see my friends. It doesn't happen often. So I'm going to put that time and effort into myself. I'm going to do my hair. I'm going to do my makeup. I'm going to wear something really nice and I'm going to feel good and confident. And that's how I'm going to leave the house today, feeling good and confident about myself and thinking I am that girl. Because after getting ready and looking into that mirror, best believe I told myself, you are that girl, because I know I am. So do these little things that you know will boost your confidence, because that is such an important thing. Step number 5, and probably the most important step out of this whole video, is stay motivated. This is the main key problem whenever we try to implement new habits into our life, whenever we try to fix our life. You can start, but it's the motivation of making you want to keep going. You lack motivation, and that's the same with me. We lack motivation and we just want to give up, and we do give up because we have nothing to keep us motivated. So what I've noticed works with me personally, and would probably work with you as well, is I can't be motivated if the place I'm in, if my environment is dirty. If everything's a mess around me, if there's clothes everywhere and I can see dust on my table, I can't be motivated. It makes me feel bummy because the environment that I'm in is bummy as well. It makes me just want to be in bed and just not do anything, because I know I have to clean the room, but there's so much to do, which makes me want to procrastinate because I don't know where to start. So the key to this is to have a clean environment always. Do the little things to keep your space clean. Have one day where you deep clean everything and then just maintain it from there. If you do your laundry twice a week and it just keeps piling up, try to do that more often. Do it 3 times a week. If you're the type of person that throws their clothes on a chair, don't throw the clothes on the chair. Take that 30 seconds just to fold your clothes and put them in your wardrobe. I know it sounds like such a basic thing to do, but this way you keep your environment clean 24/7. Another example of how you can stay motivated is do something that makes you feel confident. So like I said, today I done my makeup, my hair, and I feel good about myself. Because I done those things, I put that time into myself, I put that effort into myself, it made me motivated to feel like this more often. I want to feel confident and I want to feel like this every single day. So this encourages me to put that time and effort into myself every single day because I want to be like this every day. So doing this once will make me want to do it again because I can see how that made me feel today. So now I'm more likely to put the time and effort into myself tomorrow because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm that girl. Number 3, spend time with yourself. I used to be so scared of being alone. I used to hate it, honestly. And I'd be so intimidated of being alone, going out alone. If I needed to go to town to get something and I had to go and do that alone, that would be so overwhelming. And I find that so scary and I just feel awkward the whole time. I just honestly hated it. But with time, I got to learn that being alone is so beautiful. It gives you the time to build that relationship with yourself, to get to know yourself better. And when you show yourself that you're there to put time and effort into yourself, you show up for yourself, you will trust yourself more. Personally, I get times where I want to start doing something, but subconsciously, I know I'm not going to stick to it because I don't trust myself. There's that lack of trust in myself because of all the times I've said I'm going to do something and I stop doing it. I don't trust myself anymore to stick to whatever I've decided to do. So the way to build that trust and to stay motivated is literally spend time with yourself. Take a bath, take a bubble bath. If that makes you feel good, take a bubble bath. Sit there, watch a nice podcast, or even sit in silence and just listen to your own thoughts. Do a little bit of scripting in your head. That's what I do all the time. And honestly, people might think I'm crazy for this, but I speak to myself so much. This video that I'm doing now, I've rehearsed in my head like probably 100 times by now. When I'm in the shower, when I'm going to do my grocery shopping, when I'm at work, all I do is rehearse because I want to be better at putting this content out there. I want to be better at speaking on camera, so I keep rehearsing in my head the things I want to say. And yes, probably I'm not great at the moment, but that best version of myself is a YouTuber, right? She made YouTube her career. That is my desired self. So if I want to be her, I know I need to put the time and effort into making these videos and feeling uncomfortable on camera, which I am right now. You might be able to tell or you might not, but I am very uncomfortable right now. And I put myself in these uncomfortable positions. The first video I made on YouTube, honestly, that was tragic. I've only watched that once and I just cringed so bad. And with every single video, I am so scared when I put it out there. Right, the first time I put my video out there on YouTube, instant regret. Instant. Because I thought, oh my God, what have I just done? It made me feel so uncomfortable. But I know I need to put myself in these uncomfortable positions to be able to get where I want to get. So that is what you're going to have to do as well. And to be honest with you, the reason I'm doing this video is because I want to hold myself accountable and I want to stick to what I'm saying and what I'm doing. I want to build that trust in myself. By me making this video and sharing what I want to achieve and you guys watching this, I will feel so embarrassed if after I've put this video out there, I don't actually stick to what I've been saying and what I've been preaching about. That would be so embarrassing. So by putting this out there, not only does it make me feel uncomfortable, but it also makes me feel embarrassed if I don't actually follow through with what I say. So I really hope that you get to join me on this journey and that we will both become better versions of ourselves. And please let me know in the comments what your goals are, what you want to achieve, what you want to change about yourself this year. Let me know down in the comments because I really want to know about your journey as well. And if you do guys like these sort of videos, please let me know because I love filming this and I do want to bring out more content like this. So yeah, let me know if you like this in the comments and please hit that like button if this was helpful in any way. And make sure to subscribe if you want to join the family. I hope you guys like this video once again and I will see you in my next one.